Good afternoon, friends, and it's always a great pleasure to be in company of young and sharp minds like all of you. And I'm here to talk about a story about saving lives at scale. You would all agree with me that nothing could be more profound, more urgent, more challenging, and yet very gratifying when we talk about saving our mothers and children who are dying out of preventable deaths. Just to give you an example, in a country like India, malaria and diarrhea continues to be one of the biggest killer of children in India. And when we are talking about India becoming a 5 trillion economy, I think all of us will have to work together towards having a more inclusive and equitable growth to maintain the social order in the society. And that is why this topic becomes more important. And also, the world cannot achieve sustainable development goals if India does not contribute to those numbers. So, our demography, our numbers are very important for the world to achieve its sustainable development goal. So, this entire journey started in a state of Madhya Pradesh, which has a population of 72 million. And we stumbled upon a maternal death analysis. Basically, a mother called Lakshmi, she died while delivering her fourth child. The difference between her third pregnancy and fourth delivery was around 2 months. Uh, she was anemic. She was a high risk pregnancy and she died in the local hospital, PHC. Within an hour, the child also died. And can you imagine in a country which is aiming to be part of the developed nations and one of those very powerful nations, can we continue with this story? So we asked ourselves a question, and Lakshmi was not alone. If you see the MMR data, which is maternal mortality rates, a number of mothers dying per 100,000 live births. So the maternal mortality rate was as high, and I won't give you the numbers, but just to give you an example, by end of this presentation, and this was way back in 2014, by end of this presentation, some 12 children would have died in an hour, and every 2 hours there is a mother who is dying, and these are all preventable deaths. So the question we asked ourselves as to why did Lakshmi die? So government of India, state governments, they have programs. You have National Health Mission, hugely funded. You have infrastructure, you have doctors, you have nurses, you have resources, you have equipment, you have a machinery right from the state, national level till the Gram Panchayat level in form of ASHA and everything. Not only that, there is availability of free drugs, the treatment in the hospital is free, and on top of that, the ambulance services is free if you want to come to the hospital. And that's not all of it. You also get cash incentives for doing many things. If you deliver a baby in a government hospital, you get cash incentives. That is to promote institutional delivery and all. So all these things were happening, and yet mothers were dying. And then we concluded with this profound statement which says that technical solutions are not enough to drive the change. Do you agree? And the reason behind that, many of these technical solutions will have to be adopted by people. So you can make a toilet, that's a technical solution, but people will have to use it. You can come up with vaccine, so COVID vaccine, people are dying, and the government came up with vaccine, but there were many areas wherein the vaccination percentage rates were less than 50%. Same in tribal areas, as of now, the immunization percentage rates are as low as 50%, which means half of the children are out of this. So you have a solution, but then people have to come forward and adopt those solutions. And that basically requires a change in behavior. And behavior change is one area wherein most of the development initiatives have failed. So you can be very proud of your technical solutions, but those technical solutions have to be adopted by people, and which demands adoption of certain practices, sending a girl child to school, getting your child immunized, making a decision that I will not marry my child before 18 years old, and all of it. So when we delved into it further deeper, I'll give you this 100 feet view as to why did Lakshmi die, and we say that there were three delays because of which Lakshmi died. The first delay is in decision making, which is basically happening at the household level. Do I go to the hospital? Do I not? And all of it. The second delay is in accessing services. So you are in a village, you don't know about the road, you don't know about the transportation. There might be social norms existing in your village, in your community, that doesn't allow you to practice certain behaviors. And I'll come to it with some examples. And the third delay is happening at the service center. So even if she reaches to the primary healthcare center, if she doesn't get proper care, if the doctor is not available, if she is not treated well with respect and dignity, there is increased chances that the woman might not return back to the PHC ever again. So broadly, a 100 feet view would say that Lakshmi died because of three delays. And then it was important for us to prioritize certain gateway behaviors across the life cycle. And what is the life cycle? So reproductive health, Lakshmi could have used contraceptives which could have increased the space between the two child. In maternal health, Lakshmi could have completed her antenatal checkups. There are 4 antenatal checkups that are required to be done during the pregnancy stage. When you talk about neonatal health, colostrum feeding and early initiation of breastfeeding, that is very important. Similarly, in child health, routine immunization, and adolescent health, most of the adolescent girls in the villages are anemic, and which has complication. Then she gets married early, so everything is linked, and then there is the increased danger of her and the child both dying because of multiple things. So it starts across the life cycle. And the important thing was that there are some 52 behaviors, but you can't run a campaign or a program on 52 behaviors. You will have to prioritize it. And the way we prioritized it, we said gateway behaviors. So say, for example, antenatal checkup is a gateway behavior. If a mother completes her 4 antenatal checkups, then there would be an increased possibility that she will deliver the baby in the hospital. There is an increased possibility that she will initiate colostrum feeding and breastfeeding and all of it. And that is why we call it as a gateway behavior. So there were some 12 gateway behaviors that we identified, and we further used a model which is called socio-ecological model, which basically says that the change doesn't happen in isolation. You exist within an ecosystem of change. So if we talk about Lakshmi, so it's not only important to influence Lakshmi to take to adopt certain practices or behavior, but it is also important to work with family, friends who are around Lakshmi, her husband, mother-in-law, her friends, relatives. But then Lakshmi also lives in a community, and there are social norms, there are beliefs in the community which will shape Lakshmi's decision. And the Lakshmi also interacts with the institution. As I gave you the example, if she goes to the health center and she is not treated properly, she might not return back. And then there are government policies. So like the incentive, you deliver in hospital, you get paid. Why is that? Because that's a policy decision to get more and more women to deliver in hospital. Children getting bicycle. Why is it? Because that's an incentive for her to come to the school. So finally we analyzed the barriers, and the barriers were at 4 levels. And using the socio-ecological model, I'll just take an example of antenatal checkup. So antenatal checkup, the barriers could be at the level of mother. So the Lakshmi was not aware as to what are the advantages or disadvantages of doing or not doing antenatal checkup. Say, for example, if Lakshmi was aware, but she doesn't have family support. In this particular exercise, that her husband felt that too much of rest during pregnancy will lead to complicated delivery. So she doesn't have a good support system at the household level to practice the behavior that we are talking about. There might be a situation where the lady is knowledgeable, she also has a family support, but then the community beliefs do not allow those practices. Just to give you an example, you are expected to visit the doctor for antenatal checkup in the first trimester itself. And in many cases, in my society, even in the family where the woman who gets pregnant, she doesn't announces the whole world that I have become pregnant till the time it is visible. Why? Because they believe that this might attract a evil eye, right? And therefore, she won't be able to practice the behavior of getting the antenatal checkup done. And finally, institution level, she goes there, if she's not treated properly, she will not come back. So, armed with all these evidences and analysis, we came up with something called Mamta Abhiyan, which is a motherhood campaign. And it was a multimedia campaign that ran for almost 2 years. The audiences were threefold. One, political and bureaucratic leadership from the chief minister to the sarpanch in the village. So that was one broad category. The second was Department of Health and Family Welfare, which has people and staff and resources right from state level to the community and village level. And the third was, of course, the community service. So when I talk about community, we are talking about mothers, we are talking about children, we are talking about caregivers, we are talking about adolescents, and all of it. So these were the three broad categories of people whom we targeted during our campaign. And we had a very compelling branding theme. We said, Mamta Abhiyan Sneh Suraksha or Samman, which is motherhood campaign, love, care, and protection. So in a way, we were helping people to take pledge. So the community took a pledge, and the call to action for community was that every daughter in the village has to be loved. So that's love. The pledge for the elected representatives, right from the chief minister to the sarpanch, the pledge was that I will protect all my daughters in my community, in my village, in my state, in my block, in my district. And the third pledge was for the health department officials who took a pledge that they will treat patients and client with dignity and care. So the overall branding theme was that, and we also knew very clearly that government can continue to provide services, but till the time people do not join hands, it is not going to work. So we said, "Aap de saath to bane baat." So the government is doing whatever it has to do, but you will also have to come forward to bring about the change that we are talking about. So that was the basic thing. Very briefly, this was an innovative thing which we did. So we reached out to, there are 52,000 villages in Madhya Pradesh, around 52 districts and 312 blocks. And we did this at scale. So these communication on wheels or Mamta Rath or the motherhood Rath, these Raths were basically a vehicle with all kind of IEC materials. There was a TV there. You have 12 to 15 IPC videos, interpersonal counseling videos. And so you play these small kind of snippets of films in the community and then have the discussion. It is more important that these discussions happen in the community, in the villages, in the families for the change to happen. Or else I might be aware, I am aware that cigarette smoking is injurious to health, but I still smoke. So mere information, knowledge and awareness might not lead to that change. So we had facilitators there. These vehicles were geotagged, so we exactly knew where the vehicle was. You could also put a snapshot of what are the activities that is happening there. So if you can see in the picture, there were a lot of discussion around those 12 behaviors in the villages, and this happened on continued and regular basis. And we had also a very interesting, exciting campaign thing which created a kind of festive occasion while the vehicle entered in the villages and all of it. So this is just one example to create that momentum in the villages. And of course, we ensured that there is repeat visibility. People understand what is Mamta campaign. There is a discussion around this campaign and all of it. Over a period of time, we also institutionalized this. Madhuri Dixit was the brand ambassador for this campaign. We roped her in. It is very important when celebrities talk, people connect with them. There's a lot of fan following. There are pro-social behavior. You want to dress like your celebrity. You want to talk like the celebrity. You also want to behave the way the celebrity is behaving, and you also want to act upon the messages sent by. So we had these video snippets from the the celebrity Madhuri Dixit, the chief minister, and these were played in the villages and in the community and during the meeting. And over a period of time, we institutionalized this social and behavior change, which means we basically set up a small institution within Department of Health and Family Welfare. So whether UNICEF or I am there or not there, over a period of time, the department has capacities to do this kind of analysis, implementation, do a communication analysis, support campaigns, build capacities of people on social and behavior change and all of it. And finally, over a period of 2 years, there was a significant decline in IMR and MMR, which is infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate. It has been well captured by SRS and NFHS. We were able to mobilize funds to the tune of $3 million. The SBC capacities of the department was built to an extent, and we were able to reach out to communities in 52,000 villages on regular and continued basis. So I would say what started as a journey of one Lakshmi and understanding her story, we were able to reach out and we were able to kind of galvanize support from 52,000 people who came together to take a pledge that they will protect and they will do whatever they have to in order to protect the women and children in the society. So just summarizing it, there were, if I have to look back, there were 3 pillars of success. The one was people's first. So you need to understand your client, you need to understand the barriers, you need to understand opportunities, your messaging has to be as per the needs of the audience, and you'll have to get back to it. So the people's agenda has to be always kept forward. The second is partnership. The second P is partnership. You can't work alone. You can't bring about change in such kind of complicated things by working alone. So you work with multiple partners, researchers, academics, bureaucrats, political leaders, civil society organization, and each one has a role to play. And then only it can become a people's campaign and the ripple effect that we are talking about. And the third and the most important thing is also public finance. So you do bring in some resources, but as and when it picks up, there are more and more agencies or organizations who puts in resources. The other example which comes to my mind is Swachh Bharat Mission in India. So I would conclude by saying saving lives is the greatest gift we can give to humanity every day. And as I said, the story which started with one Lakshmi, we were able to reach out to 52,000 villages on continued and regular basis. And my final summary line is that many a times as experts, we do not have much to offer except our time and presence in the communities that we want to serve. Thank you very much for this.